This Pitch Breakfast video is brought to you by Spangler and Agins, attorneys for Charlotte's startup community.
Good morning, my name is Don Nelson. I'm the founder of CSnap Get. We're a mobile commerce concierge service that helps travelers buy things that they see at the stores that they're at while they're on vacation, and then we take care of the get. So you see something that you want, you take a picture through our app, geolocation, some of that. We work out, come back with a quote, here's how much it'll cost, here's when you can expect to get it at home. So it also helps local artisans and local independent retailers increase or capture lost sales. So people are on vacation, I don't want to deal with a salesperson, I don't want to, and they just leave. And you know, we're seeing a huge trend in people buying less of stuff and more important things that matter that are tied to experiences that they have, that are more local, et cetera. So we'll get right into Faith as example. She travels a lot for business and for pleasure, and she often sees unique pieces of art or things, but she's not gonna, can't fold up and get in the carry-on bag to go home, so she walks away. Or she's out having dinner and she sees things in a window. Take a picture, we'll come back with a quote, and we'll get it home for her. So it works really simply. I mean, we literally have, there's a lot of complexity on the back end, but the user interface that we have on the front is pretty simple. It's just take a picture, the customer buys all through our app, so you pay us, and then we reconcile with the merchant, and we take a commission, and then there's a little margin on the as this concierge fee and shipping and handling. And you know, I can get into the model in the Q&A a little bit deeper if you'd like. We're about to go live in about 6 weeks. We're submitting in 6 weeks. So my original hope here was to pitch in September, October, but I had the opportunity about less than 48 hours ago. Hey, there's an opening. So I said, what the heck, right? So we're early stage. We're pre-launch for that matter. So the easy way that it works, I mean, we've mapped it all out. We've built the back-end technology so that if I take a picture of that cool light fixture right there, which I actually have, I'll know that it came from here. Now this is not a store, so our first option is to get you that exact item from that exact merchant in Cape Cod at Wellfleet Marine or out in the, if not, then we can deliver back that exact item sourced somewhere else, and then tertiary is a like item from somewhere else. So that gives it kind of some legs and longevity and engagement with the customer if they can't get exactly what they want or it's too expensive. So we work directly with the retailers themselves. Much of our process currently obviously is manual, but we're building it to be automated and responsive. We're talking with UPS and UPS stores to really connect that last mile with the store and getting it shipped out to the customer. And we've implemented Stripe on our back end, which handles all e-commerce, payment processing, tax and shipping calculations. So a couple years ago, this would not have been possible, but I'll explain that in a second. Again, literally pulled the deck together here in 2 days. So we've got a lot of work on our market, right? But I do know that, I mean, everybody tells you, I would do that, right? But what we're finding is that, you know, independent retailers, these are your mom and pops that are out at destinations, at lakesides, seashores, artists in cool college towns, et cetera. They lag behind, they want to deliver a better experience, and they obviously want to capture sales. Things like image rec and augmented reality are scaling quickly with the likes of the big players, right? Google, Microsoft, et cetera. And we're tapping into some of that. So from a high-level competitive perspective, there's one player out there. Pinterest just got into it. These guys are more in content and only .com sales, like e-commerce. So they're pulling in affiliate feeds. They're offering products based on searches. We can do that. That's table stakes. I can come back to this. So the app will be free for consumers, and for the retailer or the artisan, they buy through us, so we do all the clearing. The merchant pays us a commission. We validated that. I validated that with a handful of merchants from Marquette, Michigan to Cape Cod, and the customer pays an additional fee. So my background, I'm fortunate to have a great career and work with some great folks. I was head of digital for Sam's Club in Bentonville, Arkansas, and then went on to be the head of digital for Toys R Us, and then have had some different global roles. And for me, it was a personal experience. I was traveling. I passed on probably thousands of dollars of decorations, cool stuff for the house, because I can go to India for 10 days and do carry on, right? So I wasn't gonna pay to have all that shit. So Some great folks, building a team here in Charlotte. Heather is here, marketing communications. Our key technologist is in Princeton. We've got some other great folks. These are all folks that I've worked with in the past at different levels, but may come and join us. And we've got an executive committee in development that has some pretty senior level executives. So again, I'm looking for feedback. Early stage, so pre-launch. This is kind of what it might look like. I definitely hear our goal is to get through the holiday season and really get our learnings that'll help us focus on who our core customer is, who our core geographies are, who our core merchants and artisans are, et cetera. And that's it. So with that, I'll take some questions.
Just really quick, as far as kind of your procurement process, how much of it is AI driven, how much of it is people driven? Somebody looking at the picture and trying to source it, or is that computer?
So it's incredibly manual now. So the ones that we've done through the MVP, working our MVP, have been me contacting that merchant, figuring that out. Merchant, a part of the funding that we're raising will help create the foundation for that automation for merchant onboarding and some self-service from that end. Another part of it is, we're going to be curating products that people are telling us that they already want, and ultimately that I think will lead to a marketplace type of thing. I mean, part of the vision is you go to Dublin, and again, we're domestic. I'm focused on North Carolina out east. I'll be in Asheville for a couple of days next week, et cetera. But the vision here is that you're going to Dublin. If you're going to Dublin, what are the 5 or 6 stores that are CSNAP Get friendly with a decal on the door that you can just go in, boom, and it goes out that way. And if you don't have a chance to go to London, you can go and take a look at what other cool people are buying, or Dublin, what they're buying from that shopping district, and you can buy them too. In most cases, again, it gets shipped directly from that individual merchant. It's helping that Main Street retailer. But I get that the scale comes from being able to multi-source and do it in an automated and AI with image rec.
The folks that have kind of deep, heavy AI, so in Samsung, the new feature is you can take a picture of something and it actually sources what that item is, where you can buy it, and all of that. Obviously, that's 100% automated, right? There's nobody behind that. How much of a threat is that, or what's your
value
proposition?
that, like what Pinterest is doing and Google announcing Lens, those right now, those are focused specifically on .com, on e-commerce sales, right? So you have to have an e-commerce back end to connect to that, and I've done this, right? In essence, an affiliate type of scenario where you can just plug in. We're looking for that more unique, treasure-driven experience. I realize that has the risk of scaling quickly, but I think based on some of the things that we're looking at from a platform perspective, we'll be able to do that with a Shopify Etsy clone, hybrid, it needs Stripe, it needs some other things that we're doing.
So I think the use case is pretty clear. I just worry that you gotta in your pitch, we need more evidence that this use case is pervasive enough that you can get the user base that you need. And one sort of alternative spin on it is you can put yourself on the merchant side and say hey, I've got all these travelers from all over around the world, and they come into my shop and they're reluctant to buy because they're worried about logistics, right?
And I've spoken with Jill up at Wellfleet. I've spoken with dozens of merchants all around the country, and they love the idea. There's all sorts of opportunities coming out from what that could look like.
Right. So as an investor, when you're pitching this consumer kind of play, you start getting worried can you actually get the acquisition of customers that you need? When you could say hey, our strategy is to go and make sure that these merchants have an easy solution for shipping and fulfilling orders for these foreign travelers. Sort of flip it over and see if there's can there be a square for the international traveler and some sort of POS kind of thing that allows the merchant to say, hey, I know you're here, I know you're from US, don't worry about anything you see here. It's easy to get it to you because we use this service.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then have some features they can use for all of their customers, not just the users that use your app.
So to that point, I think I don't think we're far away from an almost app-free world. So we are already looking at ways that you can just text a photo to us, ways that you can do it mobile web that are not app specific, so relying purely on Apple iOS app downloads.
Right.
So.
All right, that was one of my questions. Could I actually text to you versus having to download an app?
We're at MVP. The pictures that I showed, I mean, that's our beta. We've again, you know, I think my thinking in figuring all of this out is let's go live. I've got about 20 folks that have been on test flight, you know, on our beta, testing it, taking pictures all around the country, in Europe too last month. And you know, we're making sure the geolocation's right, and then what are the things that we need to do to automate as much of the process as we can. But knowing that at the stage that we're at, I mean, my goal right now is let's get live, soft launch this summer, have a little bit stronger of a launch, like November 1, kick off holiday and travel, and then let's learn. Let's figure out what does that look like. So the ask right now, and just kind of coming up in the last 2 days, is okay, what gets me into next spring so that I come out of this, there's risk today, but in January, February, March, we're pitching with X thousand users, and here's the transactions, and here's the data behind it, and here's where we've got the pain points and need to really drive in automation and accelerate that because it's unsustainable.
Right, and so I think more details on how you actually go to market and how you actually get things moving are needed. And then I think that you have some good comps that you can look at. So in the marketplace, there's companies like Operator and PS Department and some of these like concierge services. They've done a good job integrating into other networks and such. You know, you could kind of like, you know, draw comps to like, hey, look at the traction that all these other businesses are making. We're making more of a different segment play on that same spin. Somewhere to give like the confidence to an investor, like, here's the concept, here's the exact plan, here's what it's like, and these guys have been successful, but here's how it's different, and you know, a little bit more concrete stuff on the bone on the presentation.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing I'd be looking for would be how are you going to develop the crowd, right? Because that's the hardest part. Is this might be the coolest solution ever, but it takes for the retailers to be interested. It takes I have this massive group of people that I want to point to your retailer. You can't say I have 1,300 people. It'd be like that's not enough. So it's how do you acquire the user base in a pretty quick period of time? Because you have the other side of the equation, which is the people want to know, oh, there's retailers out there that know what the heck I'm talking about. And I know that's not required, but what I've seen in other kind of, you know, tangential industries is that it takes an extraordinary amount of money or a huge partnership to be able to, maybe some of your past experience could be going to Toys R Us customers and people like that. But I would like to see a slide for how are you going to get a critical mass of users so that it's attractive to retailers? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so...
Or the alternative,
Yeah,
like what's the
exactly.
retail solution that makes them interested in it?
Right.
You know,
That's where we're focused mainly.
Right.
So, you know,
Which is your
and
background.
again, in our branding, it's about keeping it about treasures, right? So we could almost go out. I could, having worked at I could go to Walmart and say, look, you know, Samsung LCD TV, 56-inch, you know, take a picture. That's a me too. And if I was a Walmart or I was Target or Macy's, I'm going to develop those apps internally, or I'm going to find somebody who's got that technology, and I might license that technology. But in trying to keep CSnap get around, you know, the brand image, around unique treasures, and also, at least for now, right before automating it and selling out, help small, Main Street, local, independent travel and destination retailers. And in that, there's an opportunity to partner with Hilton, Marriott, right? The airlines. So there's, in our partnership thinking, there's ways to scale for eyeballs, right? And do it in a way that I think we can manage it and understand how to map out what the right processes are, how to offer concierge level customer service, and at the end of the day, you know, execute.
How big is that addressable market? Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
I mean, it's huge.
It's huge.
I mean, I don't, you know,
Yeah.
Here's
People
a
buying
stat I would
treasures.
tell you. I threw it up on a slide that if you're traveling,
They have travel problems.
most people who are traveling, when
Yes.
you pull transportation aside, out of their budget, 25% is spent on shopping.
I think it's highly attractive to the millennials too.
It is.
So
Does anybody have questions out there? You want to?
Yeah, I will just tell you, I traveled to Italy, and this was years ago, 2000s, maybe better now, 2001, and brought back a ton of China and artwork and all that. And to go through customs was pure hell, absolute pure hell. The whole thing took me 6 months, I think.
Oh, sure.
And I had somebody in the U.S. speaking Italian, so I could get it all worked out. But you know, I was willing to go, I wasn't working then, I was willing to go through that Today, there's no way in hell I would have gone through that. So if you can solve that problem, I'm telling you, artwork, if you just hit art galleries all over the world and that was your only focus, huge, because that's the one thing people really resist buying on the spot. They always regret it. They're like, damn, I should have done
And
it.
that's exactly
I'll tell you, it's a big
that's
market, at least
exactly
females.
that's exactly the use case. Art is when I look at what everybody's been sending, it's that unique sculpture that I saw when I was up in the mountains, or it's that piece of art that I can get if I call them, but I want it with the emerald eye. I want the driftwood frame. I don't want just the print rolled into a tube and sent to me.
Exactly.
I want it signed by that artist. Well, I can't. That's not going to go back with the kids in the SUV home, and I don't want it. So we make that happen, right? That's what.
Can we get one audience question?
Yeah, we should let the audience respond.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. It's not that much of a question, more of a comment. I feel that there is a lot of value in getting customers through retailers because they are interested in letting people who see the thing, telling them that they can get it.
And I had Kate in Boomerang Retro in Marquette, Michigan, say, look, when it's busy season, right on Lake Superior, when it's really in the shopping area, when it's busy, she's got really cool stuff. I want the girls out front helping customers. I don't want two girls in the back packing and shipping and doing all of this. I want them out on the sales floor selling. Let's talk further about what that would look like, how I could promote that, not just to you, but to the other merchants that are there in that shopping district in Marquette. And then, the vision, right? Decals,
Right.
just like Stripe is or Square, C-Snap Get is available here, and put it on the outside window because you're out at dinner, you see something cool in the window, a piece of furniture, a cool ottoman that's been handmade out of leather, it's $1,400. I'm not going to get that, but I want that. And folks are already doing that with Instagram as it is now, and trying to manage so that we solve all of that.
All right, C-Snap, yeah, everybody.